If you're a natural-born marketer, you're one lucky son of a gun. If you're like most people, marketing, especially online marketing, is about as appealing as standing in a police lineup. The May Create team of creatives has transformed websites and digital marketing from craptastic to fantastic since 2005. Our podcast, Marketing with Purpose, makes sense of marketing so you can make purposeful decisions instead of carrying on with the same old crap you've been doing. And now your host, Monica Pitts, founder of May Create, with another episode on how to make your marketing not suck.
Welcome to Marketing with Purpose. This is Monica Pitts. About 4 weeks ago, Katie and I were trying to make some sense and maybe even find a little bit of control over what was happening in our universe. And we turned to marketing because that's what we know best. And we recorded an episode about what we felt was going to happen in marketing due to the coronavirus and what types of marketing people should focus on in their business and what types they might be okay setting aside for the time being. And now, due to that ridiculous cosmic joke, I am re-recording this episode with lots of data that I've found now released from Facebook and WordStream and Google and Snapchat and Nielsen. I mean, like all over the place. People are doing a really great job of reporting back the data so that way people can see what's going on in marketing during this pandemic. I'm actually recording from my daughter's closet because it is the quietest place in my house. And today, from this closet, I am going to break down the different types of marketing and forecast what I think is going to happen in the future and explain what's already been happening so that you can make some good decisions in your marketing as a company. Before I jump down that rabbit hole, though, I want to remind you that the show notes for this episode are available at podcast.maycreate.com, as well as any links or resources I mention as we go along. And while you're there, you can also hop on over to our resources section and check out our free library of downloadable ebooks and guides to help you market and grow your business. All right, back to business. I knew that this whole coronavirus thing was going to make its way around and start touching us all in some way eventually. I just didn't really know that it was going to force me to podcast from a closet while reading notes from my iPhone. But also literally and not figuratively, while I was planning this podcast over this topic, one of our clients called in and told us they were going to have to pause their services. And while that's not quite irony, it feels a lot like it. I mean, like, what kind of karma is that? So today, I'll project what I think is going to happen in marketing as a result of the pandemic. I know a lot of companies are going to hunker down and put marketing in the closet. With me, maybe. Maybe I can be your voice of reason, and I'll explain where you can put your marketing money right now to keep moving forward and keep those leads coming in. Because here's the reality. If you stop all your marketing right now, you won't have leads when you need them. Okay. If you only need the big picture, you can probably just stop listening right now. If you want to know what types of marketing might work for you right now, then just keep listening. Because for some mediums, the time to promote and grow your business is now. You have a more captive audience than ever because people aren't wandering all over the place. They're stuck. They're going online and searching for answers. I mean, as of March 16th, this hand sanitizer video went from 50 views per hour to 1,200 views per hour on YouTube. And in this moment of uncertainty, people are putting off marketing decisions. I mean, Social Bakers reports that click-through rates on ads are down on social platforms. While people aren't pulling the trigger right now, they're still having the same problems that they've always had. They're still considering their big purchases. So if your product isn't something people really need at this very moment, we need to focus your message on building awareness. When people are camping in those early phases of the buying cycle, we need to lean into education and relationship building. So focus on building awareness. It's like building marketing karma. That awareness will build your audience so you can talk to them when they're ready to buy. Think of it as building up your next generation of leads. We need buyers to remember us when they're ready to make a decision. As they're considering solutions to their challenges, it's our opportunity to present our services and products as solutions, as the answer to their challenges. So then when they get ready to make that buying decision, they think of us as their solution. It's like branding with an inbound twist. All right, enough of that pep talk. Without further ado, let's examine mass marketing, event marketing, and online marketing and break down what might be impacting the effectiveness of each medium and what we might expect out of them. I'm probably going to question a lot of things because I certainly do not have all the answers right now. I'm a researcher at heart, and as much as I'm totally freaking out as a business owner right now, I am equally as excited as a researcher and a scientist to watch how it all unfolds. I'm going to be data drunk for months. Let's start with mass marketing. So your big takeaway here is that mass marketing is going to take a hit. It has its ups and its downs right now. I consider traditional marketing mediums like television, radio, direct mail, print ads, billboards, all those marketing things that have been around for a really, really long time as mass marketing. Right now, television, I feel like it's a go. I think it's going to be a decent place to leave your money. Nielsen, a market research firm, reported television use went up by 18% in the week ending March 22nd compared with the week before. Without the sporting events, though, things are going to shift a bit. Advertising revenue is certainly going to drop, especially since they postponed the Olympics. I mean, I heard they're still going to call it the 2020 Olympics in 2021. I really don't know how I feel about that. Magna is a major media buyer, and they project that television ad revenue will probably drop by around 13%. So people are going to be pulling their money out of TV. But what's funny is the only television bright spot this month, according to my husband, is the golf match of Tiger and Brady versus Phil and Peyton Manning. But I mean, let's be real. Even without the sporting events, the sheer number of people watching is going to be totally crazy. So based on that, I think that TV advertising right now does make sense. Now, radio is iffy. It's tougher to project. I love public radio so much, especially talk and sports radio. I just don't know how much radio people consume as they're going about their day-to-day lives in their homes. I will be interested to see how radio consumption changes with people not driving as much, not as many road trips, limited work commutes. It's truly crappy because radio was primed to have an amazing year. In February 2020, the Radio Advertising Bureau reported local radio stations' revenues grew by 25% in 2019 and were forecasted to grow another 29% in 2020. So, I mean, I know that's not going to happen though. I guess the real question is, what will businesses do as cash flow tightens? Will they strike a deal with their radio marketer or will they just turn it off? I definitely think that you should try to strike a deal first because I think that people are going to continue listening to the radio. People do find value in radio programs because they give you so much information and they trust the people whose voices that they hear day after day and they get comfort from them. Nielsen says that radio is comfort food because they just found in a consumer survey that 83% of consumers say that they're listening to as much or more radio as they did before the pandemic. So it seems like people will hold on to their radio rituals as we enter into this time of change. Will they cancel the morning show as an unnecessary job? I think I would have to start protesting. But I don't think this is a concern because radio people are really smart and they do know how to broadcast online. Now, direct mail could also work well for some companies. As long as the USPS is running, I think this is going to be a great way to talk to people. I'm curious about whether printing will be affected. I mean, will they close those printing presses? How will this affect newspapers? And how many people does it even take to operate a press? I'm not sure. And can they operate far enough away from each other that it can be considered social distancing? Oh my goodness, this could be a super interesting topic to explore further, but clearly I'm not a publisher, so my research brain is just binging all over the place. I did find, however, on March 19th that Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf originally considered printing as a non-essential business, but the Printing Industries of America lobbied, and on March 20th, just one day later, Governor Wolf amended his industry operation guidance to allow printing and related support activity businesses to remain open. So for now, in Pennsylvania, printing continues, and I guess we'll just have to see how everything continues to unfold. I mean, printers support business needs for so much more than just marketing. They print labels for medicine and food and other essentials that we need. I mean, however, having said all this, if you're a business to consumer company and you can get your stuff printed and mailed, people are going to be in their homes looking for distractions, and they're more likely now than ever to sit down and read what you sent them. For business to business, I'm just not as sure. Unless you have a home mailing list, and who has that really for business to business? I mean, because so many businesses are going to be working remotely, I don't know if you can bank on getting in touch with those big business decision makers, getting those mailers. I mean, having said that, I am the new person in charge of picking up my mail from the post office, and I'm a small business owner, and I will actually be combing through my mail for the first time in years. So I guess you could send me a letter and I would get it. Having said all this, I guess my final piece of advice on whether or not to do direct mail is to consider what your target market is doing right now before dropping a bunch of money on stamps. The other two types of mass marketing that I mentioned earlier are print ads and billboards. Now, I think that print ads are actually an okay place to leave your money. I feel like readership of printed pieces will probably increase over this period of time as people are looking for ways to fill those moments in their lives. And now for billboards, I would not invest my money there. People aren't going to be traveling as much, so they're not going to see your billboards. It's just not a good investment at this time. And that is all for mass marketing. So let's talk about event marketing. It's very sad to me right now. Right now, it's a total bust unless you can figure out a way to do it online. Now, I consider event marketing to include event sponsorships, public speaking, hosting events, attending networking events. It's a superhuman-centric type of marketing that revolves around making connections that are generally made face-to-face. And while I'm usually completely overwhelmed and conferenced out by this time of year, I'm finding myself missing it a little bit now. You know, the grass and it's greener on the other side and all that. Now, these events are pretty much out the window, as you know, because you can't even legally hold one at this minute. Here's the deal, though. Even without those face-to-face events, we have to maintain this human element. It's more important now than ever. how can we find a way to still connect as people? How do we maintain all those relationships we foster each year at conferences and trade shows? I mean, maybe we'll find that answer as we go through this exercise. What an administrative nightmare, though, for all those event planners right now. Refunding money and canceling reservations, fielding all these questions, basically working overtime not to get paid. Like, I tip my cap to all of you for keeping it together and staying professional through all of this. I know I've had to make those phone calls myself to cancel things, and it's pretty heartbreaking. Now, is there a way, though, for us to keep some of these events going by taking them online? For example, while Facebook might not be the perfect platform for hosting an online event, there could be some serious benefits to giving it a whirl. You could start a Facebook group and invite all the attendees. And when the event's over, you would still have a Facebook group with tons of people in it. You could post about each one of your sponsors and even boost some posts to give them some more exposure. You could invite people who may not have normally been able to attend and build even more exposure for your event and its speakers than you ever could have had before. And it could be less expensive for your participants, like no travel, no hotel, no tourism dollars flowing into the town you host. So much for thinking positive. Okay, well, how about it would just be way less expensive for the event promoters? I mean, you don't have to feed people or have them complain about what you fed them. And if you can figure out how to do a virtual event and a physical gathering next year, you could serve more people than ever, right? So that, my friends, is my attempt to give you rainbows from a totally craptastic situation. We're going to have to challenge ourselves and find ways to take these opportunities online because, as I said before, and I will say it again, people still want to connect. They need to connect more than ever because humans do not like to be locked in boxes. One of the things Stacy and I were just speaking about this morning is doing a series of online educational events. Usually we reach out and do conferences and talk at those conferences to promote ourselves, yes, but also to educate people about the virtues of marketing your business effectively and doing it online. And so we'll see how those goes. I have always enjoyed having a live audience more, and so I have leaned towards those live events more so than doing it online, but maybe this will turn over a new leaf for May Create, and we can do more things online and, spread the goodness even farther. Okay, so speaking of online, the last one I wanted to cover was online marketing. So the takeaway from online marketing is going online right now for your marketing is really going to be the best bet. It's like the semi-bright spot in all of this. And I am not just saying that because I do online marketing for a living. There is going to be a huge surge in online content. I'm pretty sure the internet is about the only place that we can't catch COVID-19 at this point. Now, the first metrics are out, and according to Forbes, internet hits in Europe for areas with enforced self-isolation policies are up 70% over pre-COVID internet usage. And data from Nielsen shows as of March 27th, overall internet usage in the US is already up 28%. So you have a captive, in some cases literally captive, audience to share your message with. Online marketing is all the digital marketing activities we house on the internet. Anything from websites to podcasts or vlogs. But for now, I'm going to focus on the big five: websites, blogs, social media, online ads, and email marketing. Websites and blogs will see a huge increase in traffic. This is my prediction. Blog-style websites should definitely see an increase in traffic. People will be looking up all kinds of stuff like, how do I fix my house? How do I cook this meal? How do I do my hair? Okay, so maybe hair might be at the bottom of the list, but maybe not. I mean, my gut tells me cooking, health, news, anything crafty, DIY, home improvement, those websites will definitely see an uptake in traffic. The data gurus over at Snapchat just released that posts revolving around crafts, hobbies, house and home, news, and media are showing the biggest increase in engagement on their platform. So if you have a product or service that you feel is well positioned to this audience, you might consider placing online ads on other sites as traffic continues to rise. Now, all shopping sites, if you can ship, now's the time to market. You can focus on social media and the search network, and I'll talk a little bit more about those strategies in just a few minutes. I didn't even think it was possible for Amazon to get any bigger, yet they announced on March 16th that they're opening up 100,000 new roles and paying people $2 per hour more than their normal $15 an hour rate to cope with this new upsweep of business. So, I mean, can you even imagine what the people in the boardrooms over at Amazon are like having conversations about right now? I bet it's all about toilet paper. Like, how can we get more toilet paper? How can we ship it faster? Can we make toilet paper? Can we buy it in bulk and sell it ourselves under our brand name? These folks are totally seeing dollar signs, and I am going to go out and buy some more Amazon stock. Now, if you're looking to invest in your future during this time, I would do some website housekeeping and blogging. I mean, your website is the marketing gift that keeps giving and taking because everything just keeps changing so quickly online. It's hard to keep up. There have been a number of changes over the last few months from Google that most websites have not adapted to, like cookie notifications, caching, privacy policies, just to name a few. So most websites were built before these were all mandatory, and you could use this opportunity to get those little things done so that way Google doesn't start penalizing you and you don't even know it until it's too late. If you have extra time on your hands, you might invest in your blog because it'll pay off for years to come. People often create a website with the intent to blog, but then after building the site, they're just so overwhelmed that they never get back around to it. So if you're short on work, you can have your employees write blog posts. You can always schedule them to publish into the future. And I mean, blogging is just a great place to invest your energy in general. It can connect with buyers at the beginning of the buying cycle, which is where we need to focus right now. And then on the other side of this pandemic, all those blog posts, they're still going to be out there gaining exposure and working for you. It's like the marketing gift that does keep giving. So social media, like the time for social media is now. People are on social media. I mean, like in a way, I'm afraid this is all anyone will be doing. I'm not even like a social media girl, but I find myself on social media because I want to see what people are up to. I'm certain that some of us will regret it, but we're so bored that we're doing it anyway. And like I said, people want to connect in any way that they can find, and that even includes the dreaded social media. People are going to Twitter to get a handle on what's going on in the world. They go to Facebook to make sure the people they know are okay. And then Instagram and Pinterest, they kind of create a little escape. And I am personally just pitching a tent in these networks and doing all the creative stuff that I can do. So according to the New York Times, during the week of March 24th, 2020, overall U.S. traffic from Facebook to other websites increased by more than 50% from the week before. That's where I think we should be putting our efforts right now, out on social media. Regardless of why people are there, the presence of all these users on the networks creates an opportunity for your business. You can get started if you haven't already and gain a following very quickly. You could rekindle a relationship you may have ignored for a really long time or get in front of even more people than you ever have before. Plus, social ads are a steal right now. Social Bakers reports the CPM for social media ads are down by almost half. So it was around $1.88, and now it's dropped down to like 81 cents. So, I mean, the cost per click is also down. It's down around 19%. Click-through rates, however, are also lower. So they've declined by around 17.2% since January 2020. And the shift in these metrics varies from industry to industry. So all my fun econ training tells me that this makes total sense. When we talk about the laws of supply and demand, it kind of gives me a feeling of satisfaction and maybe a little bit of control. So I'm going to practice it just a little bit right now because the number of people advertising is down. People have pulled their money out of the market. So there's an excess supply of ad space. There's more traffic. There's more social media and internet traffic. So the overall amount of times your ad could be shown has also increased. And the demand for ads is down because, like I said, people are reducing their ad spend, so less ads are running, and that makes the cost go down overall. Now, people aren't clicking on items to buy, which reduces that click-through rate because they're not making those decisions right now. But here's the deal. That's okay because they saw your ad. You got to run it for cheap and it's building the relationship. They still have the problem that you can solve for them and they will need to solve it eventually. They're just not solving it today. So social ads are unfolding as a great way to get in front of more people for less money than in recent history. If you want to see results right now, consider running some like campaigns. We've had excellent luck promoting posts and running ads with the goal of increasing page likes for our clients. We ran an experiment for one of our clients where we placed 2 different ads, not even like fancy movie blinking ones. We just took old posts that had done well for them and copied them, made them into ads with a goal of page likes. So we spent $40 on the first one and got 126 likes. And then we spent $15 on the second one and got 48 likes. And those are assets that they can carry into the future and they can use later. The moral of the story is while people are not necessarily buying things right now, they are on social media and they're interacting, and you can gain a relationship with them now and sell stuff to them later, which is really how social media is supposed to work anyway. So for email marketing, we need to stay the course. I'll be really interested to see the data from all of our email marketing accounts throughout this period of time. I don't know if it's going to go up or go down. My guess is that it's probably going to remain relatively consistent. On one hand, people will be spending more time in their email because they can't communicate face-to-face and they have to relay their important messages in another way. And then on the other hand, some people like myself are stuck at home with their kids, recording podcasts in a closet and trying to work. And quite frankly, I'm spending a good deal of my time ignoring my email in an attempt to get anything done. Like, recording this podcast that I've been trying to connect all the technology for like 45 minutes before I could even start. So let's stay consistent with your email marketing. It's never a bad medium to jump into because the return on investment is really high. It costs little to nothing to compose and send emails. Again, if you already do email marketing, you need to keep doing it with regularity. Even if you have to adjust the script because your business is currently closed, you can still stay in touch and maintain your relationships with your customers via email. Continuing with online marketing. Audience for display ads is going to be huge. Okay, so remember how I advised you to focus on the beginning of the buying cycle? That's branding. Well, one way to brand your business online is display ads. This is when you run ads for your company on other websites. It could be the New York Times or a streaming website like YouTube or Hulu. Keep running those ads or start running those ads. Target them in the physical locations in which you have the best potential for growth. Conditions are prime for binge watching. The funniest quote I read while I was prepping for this podcast is all over Twitter. It says, "Your grandparents were called to war. You are being called to sit on the couch and watch Netflix. You can do this. #QuarantineLife." So yeah, media streaming is going to be intense, and placing ads on sites like YouTube and Hulu is pretty much a no-brainer right now. It's not even that expensive to begin with. On Hulu, around $30 will get you 1,000 views, which is like 3 cents per view. Tell me a TV station that can offer that type of pricing. And sometimes YouTube can be so cheap it's almost free. With the surge of website traffic I'm predicting, you'll have far more opportunities for your ads to show than you would normally have. Plus, you'll have a captive audience that you may not have ever even seen before. My Google Ads guy, Sean, and I both agree that with the supply of ad space going up and the demand for ad space staying consistent, the cost for ads should either decrease or remain the same. But Google does make its own rules. And once again, putting that minor in economics to work right here on this podcast. Before you turn off your Google search ads, you need to review the data. A big chunk of online search budgets are spent on search ads. So the second people start to panic, their first response is to shut those off. But don't just shut them off. I mean, hear me out before you think I'm crazy. My first reaction was to turn them off too. But I mean, if you review what's going on in your market, that is what should let you know whether or not you need to keep running these ads. WordStream released a comprehensive review of 15,759 US-based WordStream client accounts to report Google ad trends by industry on March 18th. And it's still early days, and some industries are definitely getting better performance than pre-COVID from their search ads, and others are staying the same, and then some are suffering. And you can probably even guess what industries are doing what. I'll provide a link in the show notes so that way you can go out and check out this article if you're like as jazzed by data as I am. But really, the thing is, before you pull the plug, you need to take a minute and assess your situation. Are your ads working? And by that, I mean, are they bringing in leads? As you can see by that WordStream report, if you take a look at it, every industry is different. You have to actually review your marketing data to make a decision. So if people aren't calling you to buy, they might not be searching for you online either right now, in which case, in case you have forgotten, you only pay when people click on your ads. So if people aren't searching for what you offer and they're not clicking on your ads, then you won't pay for them. And then your budget should be lowering itself naturally to reflect the number of leads that are coming into your company. It just doesn't make sense to turn the ads off because you still need every opportunity to bring in a lead that you can have. Now, don't lower your daily budget either. You can't predict when people will be searching. Like 10 people could need you one day and nobody might need you the next. So you need to make sure that those ads continue to run. And if you just mess up your budget, then your ads might not even run the way that they're running now because you might not have enough money behind them. So back to the economics. If you're considering turning off your search ads, then it's a pretty good bet that your competition is considering it also. So supply and demand, if no one else is running search ads and they're going to have to rely on their natural SEO for leads, you can claim that top spot if no one else is bidding. Recently, when Amazon cut back on their spending in their Google ads, they lowered the cost per click for retail establishments across the board by 9%, according to WordStream. So if you have leads coming in, keep your Google ads rolling as long as you can. And if not, well, as much as I hate to say it, you know what to do. So with that, my final words to you will be just don't stop now. We need to keep building our karma. It is so easy to feel the urgency of everything right now. It's not a time for you to completely hunker down and turn everything off. Hopefully, the perspective I've offered today can allow you to take a few steps back and look at the big picture of your marketing and find those opportunities that are available using online marketing. Stay the course with your print and TV. Think outside the box with your event marketing and keep focusing on the early stages of your buying cycle throughout your messaging. Building a relationship with people early and often is never a bad plan for marketing. It just so happens to be an essential plan for this very minute for so many of us in business right now. So before I leave you, I just want to remind you one more time that the show notes for this episode are available at podcast.maycreate.com, as well as all the links and resources that I mentioned as we went along. And while you're there, you can hop on over to our resources section and check out our free library of downloadable ebooks and guides to help you market and grow your business. Now, get out of here. I know you've got other things to do. That Facebook feed will not check itself. Go forth and market with purpose.
Thanks again for listening to Marketing with Purpose. Head over to maycreate.com, MAYECREATE.com. Yeah, you heard me right, MAYECreate.com for podcast notes and more resources to grow your business. Don't let your marketing suck. Get your pride on, market with purpose.